I have it up. I just want to make sure. All right. All right. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right. Let me make sure I can still control it on this other side. Perfect. Okay. So my presentation is actually for VentureWorks. It's going to be for specifically for the senior management. A couple of things, part of the agenda. Are you able to see the agenda on your
Yes.
end?
Yes.
It's changed. Okay, perfect. So here, I want to go over the senior, discuss it with the senior management. Discuss the divisions and the departments. I did realize that there are 6 divisions within AdventureWorks, each
Mhm.
responsible for their own departments. And one of the things we're analyzing is the hours worked throughout the current month.
Right.
And then make a recommendation on increasing productivity, maybe efficiency, and come up with some solutions is the idea of this meeting. Um, so right here, these are the 6 divisions and departments. We have the executive general administration, who's in charge of executive leadership, like your CEOs, CFOs, human resources, finance, information services, which would be IT, facilities and maintenance. Inventory management handles the shipping and receiving and purchasing. Sales and marketing are exactly that, sales and marketing. Research and development, we have your R&D, the engineering department, and the tool design. Manufacturing has production control and production, and excuse me, and QA or quality assurance would be quality assurance for the final, for the final product within the manufacturing process, and document control. Um, so right here, what I did, I broke down after analyzing the data of hours worked. I broke down per division, and we can see specifically that the manufacturing division is the department or the division that has the most hours flagged or billed or clocked, followed by the sales team. We have a table right here. You can see manufacturing alone has 24,624,000 hours clocked. So are you able to see my arrow? Sorry, I should have done a little pointer. Um, and then followed by the sales team, which is at only at 36,000. This is just another table or chart or graph, bar graph rather, that goes along with that. I broke it down by department specifically, and we can see here that second. That again, I just broke down these 2 sections right here, production and production control are part of the manufacturing
Mhm.
department or division, and we can see production is the highest, followed by sales. Production alone, that includes your production technicians, alone is 24,008 hours that were flagged or billed this month. Um, this is just another part that goes along with that previous slide. This is actually by department title. And again, the biggest concern that I have here after reviewing this is this section right here with the production technicians. Again, why are we flogging so many hours? What's going on? Is there demand? Is there overtime? Can we shift some of these resources or reduce some of these resources? And again, we can see with the sales, I'm going to go back to that because that could be an indicator of possible demand for uh, the high production hours.
Right.
Um, right here, the next slide is the production department. So we're going to break this down. This table describes each type of production technician. So I went down and analyzed, okay, why are there 7 types of production technicians? So this right here gives us an understanding of number 10 here, tip, or production technician does the frameworking. There's a frame welding, the polish, the paint, specialized paint, and then the sub and final assembly. My idea here is out of these 24,000 hours flagged or billed, we could possibly reduce and consolidate some of these positions. For example, the paint department. We
Mhm.
want to, do we need 15 specialized paint, technicians, and 26 paint technicians? My idea or my recommendation is to actually reduce some of the paint technicians and the specialized technicians to still have a total of 26 consolidated, because it can help, again, how many special customized paint jobs are we going to be doing? I think if we have half of of the specialized paint, and then keep half of the paint, still keep it around, again, around 25 or 26 paint technicians. That will help reduce costs. If we're paying these guys $18, it might be easier to pay these guys $18 and still save, quite a bit of money, or pay half of the 26 here, the $18 for the additional task. Um, the other recommendation I made, again, sub-assembly and final assembly. The sub-assembly, all it is basically in normal production lines, is they're the people who combine all the components to do the final assembly. So do we really need 26 sub-assembly technicians? It's like every final assembly technician has their own assistant. And in reality, how long does it take a final assembly technician to build a bicycle? It might take some time, where the sub-assembly technician might actually be able to come up with the components faster than the final technician or the final assembly technician can build the bicycles. So my recommendation is to reduce that department by 20 or by 66% to 9 sub-assembly technicians, because I think they can actually bring and combine all these components in a reasonable amount of time as the final assembly technicians are finishing their product. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Um, again, we're paying these technicians the same cost as the final assembly technicians, but we don't need as many of them, because it could create a bottleneck scenario where they have so many of these items already combined, ready for manufacture for final assembly, but the final assembly technicians are not caught up with that work because they're still working on some units. So with that said, these 24,000 hours that were billed actually cost $500,000. That's what was paid. Those are the hours that were billed. By consolidating these two positions that I mentioned, we might be able to reduce the cost by 138,000. So I still wonder, why is production high? Why are those hours still high? Again, I was wondering if sales were high. So that's what we're going to look at next, is the sales department. And we do see here by territory and region the sales for the year. I can see from this data that sales year to date, compared to same time last year, we have an increase. There's a 61% increase in sales. Um, just in the Southwest territory alone, where there's 96% increase, which includes Arizona, Utah, California, some of these nice, states with nice weather, which makes sense. But another region is the Northwest territory, where we have Washington, Oregon, Montana, nice mountainous area, cool weather as well. But that's not alone to have the increase in sales. I think that the current COVID-19 pandemic has boosted sales. In fact, there is some research found from the Associated Press and the Oregon Live uh, newspaper, where sales have been increasing between 30 and 300% across the country. There's bicycle shops that have been selling out, so there is obviously a demand um, in sales. So that could be another reason why production hours are high. People are working quite a bit to try to get these units. I still think that there's not a need for additional special paint technicians or additional sub-assembly technicians. I still think it's something that needs to be reduced, because we have been producing, we have been selling, and as you can see on this table, we have a 61% increase in sales. Um, so one of the surveys that I found by Karif, and this is on the Associated Press article, is that out of 1,000 people surveyed, they also found cycling to be safer than public transportation during this pandemic, because sitting in the bus with tens and twenties of other people, or you by yourself on a bicycle riding to work, to school, to the store, wherever you're, again, social distancing. So that definitely gives us enough of, of gives us tells us that there are sales increasing, and productivity is definitely going up as well. Um, Now, is that enough to justify the hours? I think yes. I think that's why production hours are probably high. I also think, again, going back to the additional two positions that could be reduced, could be another reason why production hours are high. But with the amount of sales that we're having, production on alone with the welding, the building, the polishing, and the final assembly should, definitely be at the levels they are currently. Another concern that I did find too is, if we look at if we divide a specific cell, so this is 52 million in cells, it's costing us $500,000 in manufacturing just in 1 month. Again, cells are up, but that's another concern. If we divide 52 million by 6 or 7 months, I mean, it's still, quite a bit of an expense to in manufacturing. So we have to find ways to reduce that expense to be successful and profitable. Um, this next section right here, just some solutions that I was thinking. Now, the data that I pulled up that was able to find was limited. I did find that there were employees missing on those hours. I noticed that there was only one sales manager listed. So we still are missing the Pacific and the North, Pacific and the North America sales manager. So some of this data may be very um, I've lost my word, is not accurate data, because we're missing information. I also noticed that production supervisors are not listed on this data sheet as well. So it does kind of make us think how much more expenses are there in the production line since we don't have the day, evening, and night shift supervisors in there. And there's about 6 of those positions that are there that are not listed as hours. Now, it's not like some of these other positions that were on the data sheet that had what I would consider maybe paid time off, but showed at 0 hours work. These people were just not in there. So the data, is as good as, the data integrity is as good as the information that's available to you, right? So with that said, this information wasn't as accurate because I was missing information. I can't make a real solid recommendation other than reducing those 2 positions. We might be able to consolidate other positions or reduce some other positions, but again, we were missing information on other employees. Um, so that's it. Any questions? And here are my references as well. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah, sorry.
So I just was stating, no questions. It was very clear that you came up with a very solid hypothesis, and then a solution, which is appropriate for the hypothesis. But the best thing that you did was to not embellish the data. You can only, perform as much assessment of the data as the data that would represent it itself. So remember that. I mean, that's one thing that sales managers, project managers are looking to. Are you using valid data points? Are you making sure that this is true and validated and clean data? And that's becoming such a big thing now. So that's great. You get bonus points for doing that, because if you go beyond that, then it's a less usable solution. So
Yeah.
good job.
And it's funny how I came across it. I mean, I was running like the employee history, and
Mhm.
I texted you last week, or not this weekend, but the weekend before, because I kept getting duplicates. I'm like, why am I getting duplicates? So then I started digging some more and digging some more. I'm like, and as I started breaking down each division or each department, I started seeing, oh, why are these people not that we have hours for them, but I started looking at seeing additional employees that weren't on the same data sheet. I'm like, what is going on here? And I just started thinking like, well, what else is this, accuracy as far as data? Yeah, it just kind of came up to me as far as this is going to be an issue, whether it's this business or another business,
Right.
that, you got to make sure that the information is valid, like you said.
Right. So, and just to let you know, this data is somewhat dirty for a reason.
Hmm.
It's very easy to embellish the data and create data points that are not accurate based on the business. And then the data are, this VentureWorks is not the cleanest anyway, but one of the lessons we want the students to understand is that you will run across these type of scenarios no matter how clean you think the data are. So So just
Yeah.
remember that. So that's a very, very good job of assessing and utilizing the data to form your analysis. So
Thank you.
thumbs up.
Thanks.
All right.
Um, all right. Well, yeah, I've been thinking about this presentation all weekend. So I was like,
You did a really good job.
thanks. I stumbled. It's been a long time since I presented, to be honest with you. So I kind of know with my ums, and I just need more practice with it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, don't worry. I mean, you did an excellent job.
thank you.
So
Um,
yes.
so should I just upload this